My name is Duncan Iverson. I'm Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences here at the University of Sydney. And it's my great pleasure just to welcome you all and to welcome our guests this morning. My first duty is really to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. In fact, just next to us is a traditional Gadigal meeting place, and I'm sure that there wasn't only trade and barter going on, but a lot of storytelling. And this morning we're here to continue in that tradition with the Man Booker International Prize. I just wanted to say three quick things about the prize and the university's involvement with it for the first time this year. Obviously, we're passionate about the role of books, great books, and great writing in the public culture, not just of the city, but of Australia and our region and the world more generally. And through our partnership with Man Booker, also our partnership with the Sydney Festival, we're engaging in the public culture of our city and our country in all kinds of new ways. So this is a wonderful fit for our university, and speaking as the Dean of the faculty which cares, we feel most about books and our culture for our faculty as well. I think the other thing that makes this a great fit is the international focus of the Man Booker International Prize. That focus is explicit in its title, but as you'll know from the notes and from some of the information you have, this is a prize that acknowledges and honors the work of an author who has written not only in English, but whose work has been translated. And indeed, as a note we'll hear later on, they even offer a prize in translation as well. And again, we share this value of an engagement with the global public culture. Our world is becoming more connected, and I think that means that it's more important than ever before to engage with the cultures we're encountering every day in new ways, in not just respectable ways, but in deep ways and challenging ways. And I guess the third thing I wanted to mention is this year, for the first time, our university has established a kind of mass first-year book club. Every first-year student, whether they're doing philosophy or history or English or engineering or science and technology, has been given a copy of Kate Grenville's Secret River, and we'll be holding a whole series of events around that book and the themes that book we hope students will engage with. And it's a way of our university giving the opportunity for students, all of our students, to think deeply, to take a step back from pursuing the great careers and ambitions they no doubt have, and think more deeply about the meaning of fiction and the ideas and themes and knowledge, indeed, that fiction conveys. So it's my great pleasure to welcome you here today, and it's a particular pleasure to invite Iron Truen, who is the director of the Man Booker Prize now, to introduce the panel. Iron.
Thank you very much, Duncan, and it's, I must say, an enormous pleasure to be here on such a wonderful morning. This is the fourth Man Booker International Prize, and the judges for it, and I will start from the farthest away from me, nearest the window, Justin Cartwright, author and critic. Next to him, Carmen Khalil, author, but also publisher, Rick Jackowski, antiquarian, bookseller, author, and Fiammetta Rocco, who is the administrator of the International Prize, remembering that Man Booker has two prizes, the annual one as well. But here today it is the International Prize, awarded every 2 years, that we are awarding. And I'm going to, without any further ado, ask Rick Jackowski, the chair of the judges of this year's jury, to announce the finalists list. Rick, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ian. Can people hear all right? Yeah. First, my thanks. I'd like to begin by thanking Ian Truen and Fiammetta Rocco for their kindness, support, and omniscience. It would be quite impossible to do this job without them. And particularly to thank Justin Cartwright and Carmen Khalil, who have been a joy to work with, who are both steeped in literature. There were times during the course of this that I have felt that of the many hundreds of books and authors we've had a look at, Carmen had published half of them and Justin had reviewed the other half. It's been a remarkable achievement, and I think it reminds us of the importance of storytelling in our lives. There are no cultures that don't tell stories. And there are no cultures that don't honor storytellers. And this is built, I think, very deep into our genetic structure. Those of us who have the wonderful experience of reading to children will know that it is impossible to read one chapter to a child before they go to sleep. Can I have some more? Please read another chapter. And this, even when the child knows the book inside out. There's something utterly compelling about narrative. Narratives, stories, myths, legends, all cultures have these. But great fiction does something more than that. Great fiction opens doors into other people's minds and other people's cultures, but it also opens doors in our minds and in our hearts. And one of the ways I think when you can tell that you're in the presence of masterful fiction is that you feel subtly rearranged internally by the nature of what you've read. That somebody having read a great book, a great work of art, is never quite the same. You can feel the internal planes shifting. And it's been an absolute joy to be able to read a number of very great writers, a large number of very great writers from around the world. It's been a difficult process coming up with a list of finalists, and I'll read it to you in a moment. The one thing I would like to preface this by saying is that unlike the annual Man Booker Prize, there are no submissions for the International Booker Prize. For the annual prize, publishers send in books published in a particular year for consideration. The International Prize is given for what we call an achievement in fiction to some writer from around the world who either writes in English or is generally available in English, and no names are submitted for this. It's been up to us as judges to generate our own list to consider. That list has been extensive, the reading has been extensive, because while we are tracing someone's achievement in fiction, we're tracing it by reference to our own achievement over a lifetime as readers. So when people say to us as judges, how many books have you read for this prize? The answer is thousands, many thousands. Our list of finalists has been winnowed out of consideration of probably 200 writers, and it consists of 13 names. In each case, though sometimes it will be obvious enough, but in each case I will state the country from which the author comes, because in some cases you may not know. The first person on the list of finalists for the Man Booker International Prize in 2011 is Wang from China. Proceeding alphabetically, Juan Goytisolo from Spain. Third name, James Kelman from Scotland. Fourth, John le Carey from England. Fifth name is Amin Maalouf from the Lebanon. Followed by David Maalouf from Australia. Dasha Marani from Italy. Rohinton Mystery, an Indian who's now a Canadian citizen. Philip Pullman from England. Marilyn Robinson from the United States. Philip Roth from the United States. Su Tong from China. And Ann Tyler from the United States. Those are the 13 finalists for the Man Booker International Prize 2011. But I do have one thing I would like to add to this. I have, in the last 45 minutes, been given a statement which we've received this morning, which I would like to read to you. It's from John le Carey. And it reads, I am enormously flattered to be named as a finalist of the 2011 International Man Booker Prize. However, I do not compete for literary prizes and have therefore asked for my name to be withdrawn. Now, this has only just emerged Mr. Le Carey, whose fiction we admire enormously, will continue to be, of course, on the lists of finalists, which has already been distributed around the world before we got this. And the judges will be meeting later to discuss the ramifications of it, and I will make another statement later today.
Thank you very much, Rick. It's your turn now for questions. It would be helpful if you would give your name and also which organization you represent. And if you would like to say what your question is, and we can direct it as to who seems the most appropriate person on the panel to announce it. So, first question.
Stephen Romay from the Australian newspaper. Hello, everyone. A question about the finalists. Peter Carey was a finalist previous to awards. Since the last award, he's written a well-received novel. Has his contribution to literature declined, in the judge's opinion?
I think this is a difficult one. There are 13 people on this list. There are many thousands who are not on it. And of those many thousands of writers, there are, without any question, many, many great writers whose names were considered very carefully. But I would like to keep our attention, if we can, to the people who are on the list and not on the list, because that would be a nightmare to go on individual case after case after case. Why isn't he on? Why isn't she on? Etc. We have 13 great writers, and we really want to talk about them.
Next question. Yes.
Hello, Adrian Rochella from ABC. Just a parochial question. Why bring the prize to Australia, to Sydney this year?
Perhaps I could...
Just good luck, isn't it?
Go on, Rick, and I can add something.
Well, because it's an international prize, we tend to announce both the list of finalists and the final winner in some country other than the UK. It has been in the United States, it's been in Canada, etc. This year it's in Australia. All of us were absolutely delighted by that and equally delighted to be here.
I think it would have been very parochial of us, even though the prize is sponsored by the Man Group with headquarters in the UK, to have done it solely from the UK, even solely from London. And we have made it our point right from the very beginning that we would move this around the world. And it's very much why we're in Australia today.